Carolina on the ride. Carolina on the ride.
What's going on, Panther Nation? Bill Mack here with another edition of the Panther Prowl. Glad you folks could join me. Sorry, like I said, this video is late. I had to work, so usually I try to get my video when I'm working on that weekend out to you as soon as I possibly can. What a great game did we have today, Panther Nation? Were we not just proud of our Panthers? I mean, for pulling it through all the way to the end. I mean, to play Minnesota, sure, people are going to say, well, Minnesota's offensive line, da-da-da-da. Hey, a win's a win. We've lost several games where we've had injuries as well. And our offensive line, we've seen how it's been over the last few weeks. But needless to say, a win is a win. Yes, indeed, Panther Nation, we hosted the Minnesota Vikings, and we came out with a win on top. So I am so glad that they were able to pull out a win and keep it and not squander that fourth quarter, which we have a tendency to play too conservatively. And I thought that's what the pattern we were going to do again this time. But let's just get right into the results and stats of what happened in the game. The Minnesota Vikings, of course, dropped to 10-3, 5-2 away. Scored 24 points against our Panther Nation, who are now 9-4, and they are 4-2 at home, scoring 31 points. Score was 31-24. Cam was 13 of 25, only 137 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Of course, Jay Stu, of course, the story today, 16 carries, 103 yards, 3 touchdown runs, which is a lot of touchdowns for J2 to get in one game. Funchess, of course, came in receiving-wise, 3 receptions, 59 yards, 1 TD, but his catches were crucial catches that he did get. So, yes, once again, he's noticing he's started scoring more touchdowns since the trade to Kelvin Benjamin to Buffalo. Of course, Case Keenum on the other side, he was 27 of 44, 280 yards, 2 TDs, and 2 interceptions. Of course, Jerome McKinnon was the lead back here. 7 carries, only 46 yards. And Thielen was 6 catches, 105 yards, 1 TD. Our defense, of course, was the big factor as well, helping us out here. Luke Kuechly led all of our Panther D here. 14 tackles, 8 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. KK Short had 3 tackles, 3 solo, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss. 2 tackles for loss. Super Mario Addison, he had 3 tackles, 2 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. And Peppers, of course, the man again, 2 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. And Bradbury and Worley, of course, our backs had 1 interception each, which is what we needed to have. And, of course, on the other side, Linville Joseph had 10 tackles, 3 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. And, of course, Everson Griffin, 3 tackles, 2 solo, 1 sack. Special teams, Gano was 1 for 1 field goals, 4 for 4 extra points. And Kai Forbath was 3 for 4 in field goals and 1 of 1 extra points. So, as we see, our defense had sacks, pressures, turnover, tackles for loss, which is just what we needed to have. Of course, the high points for Carolina. Newton had 11 rushes for 70 yards to go along with that, including a 62-yard burst with 2 minutes remaining in the closing minutes to give Carolina and to put them ahead for good. Jay Stu, of course, the good thing with him with rushing today was the fact that he was the first 100-yard rusher that Minnesota has allowed all year long. And he also had well over 216 yards total rushing. So that's what happens when you can rush the ball. Good things can happen. Of course, we know Jay Stu early on in the game had a big burst, a 60-yard burst to score a touchdown, one of his first touchdowns of the game. So sorry about that truck going by. Didn't think it would come by this late. Of course, like I said, Funchess had some crucial passes. Demir Bird made his presence, caught a few passes. I was so proud to see him make some catches in there and some plays for Carolina. Shepard did as well. Not to see our receivers didn't make catches. Weren't a lot of bombs, weren't a lot of chunk plays, but we did get a job done. We get the passes, and they were passes that were crucial when we needed to have. Of course, by Carolina winning, that snaps Minnesota Vikings' 8-game winning streak, which was what they were going on. So congrats for our Panthers. I love this. Minnesota, for stats for the game, Minnesota, of course, led total yards. They had 356. Our beloved Panthers only had 345. Not very much. But we did have the fewest turnovers. We only had one, which was the interception by Cam. Of course, Minnesota had three, which were the two interceptions and a fumble lost. And Carolina also led time of possession. When you run the ball, time possession. 31 minutes, 18 seconds to 28 minutes, 42 seconds for the Minnesota Vikings. And of course, Minnesota did have fewest penalties, which Carolina is one of the fewest penalized teams in and penalized yards in the NFL. They, of course, Minnesota had only two penalties for 30 yards. Our Panthers had six for 48 yards. So six penalties didn't really hurt us in the end. We didn't shoot ourselves in the foot either, like getting to the goal line, then getting a penalty, which was typical for us to do a lot of times. So it was just good the fact that we actually got out there and we didn't do anything to kind of shoot ourselves in the foot, put us out of field goal range, or put us out of getting a chance to get a touchdown. That was a good thing. That's what we have to think about. The injury report here: Vikings linebacker Emmanuel Lamar left the game. He had a foot injury. He ended up not coming back. Brief scare, Panther Nation. Greg Olsen did leave briefly. He hobbled on his foot that we thought that we may have re-injured, but he did end up working it out on the sideline and then coming back. Of course, he didn't have any catches and no yards this game. But needless to say, we didn't have to. We had the running ability of Cam and Jay Stu getting 3 touchdowns. We had Funchess Gorse getting the touchdown. I was very proud of our team. Next week, of course, our Vikings host Green Bay. And Vikings, they go on to host the Cincinnati Bengals. We've got 3 games left. They're very important games. We've got to win these games out and hope that Atlanta defeats New Orleans and we beat them. So a lot to look forward to. Our defense done well. I was really proud. The key points which I made in my preview video were what we actually did. We were talking about the running game, getting the running game going. We did that. We said, not a lot of penalties. We did that. We said limit the turnovers. We did that. Matt Khalil didn't have that bad of a game against Everson Griffin. Of course, they did put a little tight end on him, a little chip off a little bit, to try to give him some help. We did see one-on-one matchups. He was still a problem, wreaking on Khalil. But overall, they put some help over there with him. And as we see, the Panthers did end up getting 4 sacks is what I'm seeing. 5 sacks is what I'm seeing. So Julius Peppers looked good. I was glad to see our Bradbury and Worley both get interceptions. We needed to have that. We hadn't been creating turnovers. Kuechly didn't have to do it all on himself. He did get a sack. He did lead 14 tackles, leading all defense with tackles. I was just so proud of our team altogether. It was a great effort. We needed to have this to continue on and show that we mean business. And, and hopefully Olsen can get back in the flow of things next week, because it's going to be a tough matchup, because Aaron Rodgers may be back for Green Bay. So that's going to be a tough matchup in its own, but it's not to say it can't be done. So I'm just so proud of my Panthers, Panther Nation, as I know you are. Like I said, sorry so late for the video, as I tried to get it out as early as I possibly can. But if you like this video, as always, Panther Nation, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, like this video. If you have any comments, drop them in the comment box. I will definitely get back to you with comments. So until next time, until the preview video for the Green Bay Packer game, this is Bill Mack, Panther Prowl, Panther Nation, saying, keep pounding.